Mrs. Luria is recognized.
Well, thank you, General Milley. I noticed earlier in a comment to Mr. Bacon, you said that I don't think we're taking too much risk with regards to China and Russia. So one of the things that when we look at the budget, we look at what's in it, what's not in it, the things that are unfunded requirements list. There's risk associated with each of those choices that were made based off of the top line and what you've included in the budget coming over to us. And I know that in Title X, it requires a chairman's risk assessment, which would normally be submitted annually by February 15th. Have you submitted the risk assessment this year?
Have not. Typically in sequence, it goes national security strategy, then national defense strategy, then national military strategy, then the budget, then the chairman's risk assessment. So, but anyway, I have it. It's in draft, and it'll be submitted shortly. So talk risk for just a second. So the way we do that, the way I do it, and the way we have, as a department, have done it, well, the Joint Staff has done it, is take a look at the probability and the consequence of a specific event, and then measure it against the risk to force, risk to mission, evaluate against time and the cost to troops. How much, what are you going to lose in terms of bodies? So
can I jump in really quickly? So when was the last time the risk assessment was done?
it was 2 years ago.
Okay, right. So August of 2020. Asking also perhaps why it wasn't done last year, but I've reviewed the previous risk assessments and they don't really follow the format that you're stating, and also they don't really follow the format as required in Title X and include all of the elements in them that are necessary, which I think was written that way because that allows us to make decisions, perhaps adding additional resources to the defense budget.
Sure.
So go ahead, please. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'll do better on rewriting it in accordance with the formats, but my point being is the substance of any risk assessment that we do is relative to that. So the probability, we're evaluating risk in this, for this budget, in this NDS, relative to China and Russia. And specific to China, when I said my comment to Mr. Bacon earlier about I don't think it's too much risk. I think that we've mitigated risk relative to China, and I think that the probability of armed conflict with China, the consequence would be high, but the probability is not high in the near term in terms of this particular budget. Now, as you get in the out years,
what do you define by
I think that the out years is beyond 5 years. So beyond the flight.
That does not concur what we've heard from Admiral Davidson and
what Admiral Davidson said and Admiral Aquilino said was they said that the probability or the capability of China to attack Taiwan is going to be 2027. Capability, not probability.
Okay.
And that is exactly what President Xi charged his military to do.
Okay. Well, I would say that myself and many others on this committee interpreted Admiral Aquilino and Davidson's statements differently, but as we're limited in time.
They were interpreted differently, but what they said was the capability to attack Taiwan was to be developed by 2027. That's not the same as a decision to attack Taiwan.
I think that they said that there was a high probability within the next 6 years, now 5 years, and I've had that conversation directly with Admiral Aquilino. But just so that we can get through the question about risk.
Okay.
So, you know, the purpose is to say how the current and future risk changes with regards to the budget that's submitted. And so with the budget priorities, the trade-offs, the physical constraints. And so there's some things in here. I mean, we're decomming 24 ships. We're only building 8. You say 9. We're delaying the laws for the Marine Corps to come to the fight in the Pacific. We're not maximizing our shipbuilding capacity. We could build 15 DDGs. We're only building 10. We're stopping the LPD production line. We're pushing out the LHA, the unfunded requirements list. Risk, like what are the things that can prevent an invasion of Taiwan? You know, it's the bottom of the unfunded requirements list for offensive mining. Is the Air Force investing in long-range anti-surface missiles, LRASM? You know, these things that, in my mind, are priorities to accomplish our goals, or some of them not even funded or not funded sufficiently. So you've made decisions there to fund this, but put this on the unfunded requirements list, so there's a risk. So that is what I feel is not being communicated to the committee. And you're here requesting $773 billion, and I feel like you haven't provided, you know, the most basic information necessary to understand what this budget will or will not do for the defense.
Well, there's 30 seconds left, so as quickly as I can. I don't think that decommissioning ships that are 30 years old that have no relevance to a fight against China, or limited relevance.
Don't have time in 30 seconds to cover this topic, but I do think that I'm looking forward to reading about that in the risk assessment when it's submitted soon. So thank you, John.